I guess all ministers at one time or another are also called pastor. But I don't know of any for whom it is more appropriate than Bob Joiner. Pastor Bob is not just a title, it is a description of who he is. Pastor is someone who is called by God to help people, to offer the peace of Christ in difficult times and celebrate the joy of Christ in happy times. And that is who Bob Joiner is. I knew Bob before I came to Pearland, but it has really been a joy to get to work with him these years, and I look forward to more in the future as together we work to do the Lord's will. Everywhere Bob has served, he has been a great pastor. And on this day, we want to make a special opportunity to thank God for sharing Bob with us and for letting us all know him. There's probably not a family in this congregation that has not been touched by Bob either through a hospital visit or a baptism or a wedding or a funeral. For all of these ways, again, we give the Lord thanks and look forward to many more years of serving with Bob. Thank you, Bob, for being our friend and our pastor.
I'm Reggie Clemens, and I'd like to talk just a moment about Dr. Bob Joiner, Reverend Bob Joiner, Pastor Bob Joiner, friend Bob Joiner. I've known Bob since I've been here, and I've been here a little over 15 years. Bob was here when I got here. In fact, he got here maybe a little bit before I did. And what Bob has always been to me is a friend, a mentor, a person who truly loves the Lord and loves God's people. As a staff member here, Bob has always been particularly conscious of the staff, loving us, nurturing us, taking care of us. He's always been there for us. I absolutely love hearing Dr. Bob pray. His prayers are sincere, they're meaningful, and they're just like I used to say about my grandmother. It's like he knows God personally, and so you know God's listening to him when he prays. Dr. Bob's ministry here, in fact his legacy here at First Methodist Pearland, has been something that we can all admire and be proud of. And we truly know that he has touched so many because that's the kind of guy he is and the big heart that he has. We love you, Dr. Bob, and I truly know that as we continue to move forward in our ministry together, that I know God will bless it because he's already blessed it, and we know God's in the blessing business.
Hello. I've been given the opportunity to talk a little bit about Reverend Bob Joiner and the impact he's had on my life and what I've seen him do for others through his work in our congregation. As I think back about when did Bob come into my life, I really can't tell you. He just always has been in my life. And for that, I'm very thankful. But when I think about Bob, I think of him as my friend, my leader, my spiritual mentor, perhaps somewhat of a father figure. But the things that I admire most are the fact that you see God in everything that Bob does. Whether he's talking with you, whether he's challenging you to stretch your spiritual faith, whether he's calling you to give of your talents, your tithes, your offering, and your witness, he expects something with the gifts that God gives us. He just helps us to understand how we can use those gifts. He has shared so many life events with so many of us. He has married us, including Hal and I. He cries with us. He has helped us bury our loved ones. He's helped us celebrate births, new children, baptisms. The list just goes on and on. So as I sit here today, I wonder, what would life have been without Bob Joiner? And I cannot even begin to imagine what my life would have been without Bob. And I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing. So Bob, I just want to take an opportunity to say thank you for making such a huge difference in my life and in the lives of others, everyone that you've touched through this church and throughout your ministry.
We love you, Bob. We love you, Bob. We love you, Dr. Bob.
We love you, Dr. Bob.
We love you, Dr. Bob.
We love you, Bob. We love you, Bob.
We love you, Bob.
We love you, Bob.
We love you, Dr. Bob.
We love you, Bob.